Hello, everyone, and welcome to Books Unbound, the podcast where we unbind books, and we've been doing it for 6 years with your hosts, us. It's Ariel and
Raeleen. Yo, yo, yo.
Wow. If our podcast was a child, it would be in grade 1.
Oh my gosh, I love it when you say that. Whenever you compare something to it being a child, in terms of time, I just love that. 'Cause, yeah, that's really freaky. That's really weird.
Yeah, they'd be 6 years old, running around with interests, fully formed sentences, reading books, having opinions on the Magic Treehouse books. And I like to think they'd be pretty cool, you know?
If the podcast was a child, yeah, I do think they'd be pretty cool.
And if we were to base their wardrobe off of our logo, I think they'd wear really cute browns and oranges
they'd be
and things.
trendy.
And have little acorns stitched onto their clothing.
Oh my god. Our child is so cute. What the heck?
I know.
I love that.
Well, everyone, 6 years. 6 years. It kind of came up on us because obviously we celebrated 300 episodes quite recently. And so the 6-year thing kind of flew under the radar for us. But then the last time we recorded, we were looking ahead and we were like, wait a second, it's here.
It's October. It's happening. Yeah.
I pulled some stats for us, Raeleen.
Oh, I love that. Thank
as
you.
I am wont to do. In these 6 years, we have done 305 episodes, which is just a lot of episodes.
It's kind of scary.
Altogether, based on the dashboard thingy, it said we have 4.6 million listens.
Wow. You guys really like to re-listen, huh?
Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Every time you say the word million in relation to our podcast, I'm like, that seems crazy to me.
I know.
Because it's, like, relatively a small little community, you know? Like,
it feels that way.
It feels small to me, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's like tens of thousands of weekly listeners and everything. Like, it feels cozy to us, but I mean,
I guess 300 episodes will also,
it does add up. It does add up.
Yeah.
We just passed 30,000 followers on Instagram, which is cool.
Cool.
Obviously, like, we do use the Instagram. We like taking photos of our books and like sharing updates there and everything. It's not maybe like the place where we spend the most time, but it's still nice to be like, wow, there's a lot of people following us over there. And we have 14,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The final thing that I pulled is 1,387 current patrons.
Wow.
Which is really beautiful because those are the people that like are the backbone of our whole podcast. We couldn't do this thing without everyone. And obviously these numbers aren't why we do the podcast, but it's always fun to give yourself a second to look at your accolades and be like, wow, you know, we have been doing it for 6 years and we have reached all of these crazy milestones. And I mean, all of those milestones are people. Like, those are all people listening right now who have followed us here or there or supported our Patreon or listened or re-listened to an episode or shared it with their friends. Like, that's what's cool about those numbers, is that those are all people.
So true.
So, thank you to the people.
We love you, people.
I was also just thinking, like, how many, and this is a transition on purpose, Raeleen.
Okay.
How many moves we've personally done during those 6 years is hilarious. I mean, just like
it is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
I feel it in my bones.
We've hit some really big milestones during that time. Like, in the last 6 years, we both got engaged and then both got married.
Wow.
Which is crazy. We both bought houses, which is crazy. That seems crazier to me than getting married somehow.
It is, because it's something that we never thought was possible. You know, in this day and age, it is very difficult for a young person to do that.
And it's funny because when you think about the houses that we bought, it's like, wow, yeah, like, we really went to extreme situations and positions. Like, I moved across the entire country. You moved to, like, a situation that, like, normally you wouldn't have chosen or whatever. And it was just like, we made it work. But it is crazy that happened.
Absolutely.
And, like, when we started the podcast, we were both 24.
Oh, my God.
I know. That's so crazy.
We were so little.
Or maybe I had just turned 25 and
yeah,
you
because
were
it would
about
have been
to turn
October
25.
right after your birthday.
That's it.
Actually, that's crazy. This was like your birthday present was like, let's start a podcast.
Let's start a podcast. Yeah. So yeah, I had just turned 25 and you were a month away. I had been 25 for about a month. Raeleen was a month away from being 25. And now we're both, well, we're in the same situation again.
Yes,
I just turned 31 and in a month Raeleen will turn 31. So it's seen us through like most of our 20s into our 30s. And like I say, with the moves, like when we started it, I was in Ottawa, right? Or had I just moved to
no,
BC?
you were about to move to BC because I
Yes.
remember you started recording in your Jeep like a few episodes in, I think. Because that was after you moved, I think.
Yes. And
if I remember
so
correctly.
I remember starting it in Ottawa and then moving to BC and then moving to Nova Scotia and like all of those moves that has entailed. And you were doing, I think at this point you've now done more moves than I have
I've
done
moved
in the
like
period.
5 or 6 times, I think. Maybe not 5 or 6, but it feels like that. In the past 6 years, yeah, I was thinking more like in the past decade, but
No,
in the past
yeah.
6 years, I've moved at least 4 times.
Yeah, and so
Which is
in that time, you moved a bunch within BC and now to Alberta, which is like a big move.
And now a second place in Alberta.
Yes, and now a second place. And with we used to say we were coast to coast, which is funny because that feels like it was like the thing from the beginning, but it wasn't because I wasn't in the coast when I was in Ontario, and I wasn't in the coast when I was BC.
Yeah, we were
but
both in BC for a while.
Yeah. When I moved to Nova Scotia, though, that's when we started saying from coast to coast.
Yeah.
And then when Raeleen moved to Alberta, we can't say it anymore.
No.
The
No, I'm
branding
one with the prairies
keeps
now.
changing.
It's just I'm running with the prairie dogs, you know. So not quite.
So it's just exciting how much we've done and seen and shared and all the books we've read. I mean, actually, it would have been cool to tally up how many books we've read in that time.
God, that would be impossible.
A few
but very
hundred
fun.
books
Yeah.
that we've read and shared and talked about, and some that we've read and not shared and not talked about. It's just been a real gift and a pleasure. So thank you to everyone who's listened and supported. As a fun thing, we've chosen our favorite book from each year of the pod, and we're going to share that with you guys after our updates and everything. So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
I had a lot of fun going through the list. I thought it was going to be hard. It was not hard at all.
Oh, really? Mine was a little hard because there are some years where I literally read like 5 or 6 amazing books
Yeah.
where I was like, I actually don't know how to pick just one, but I managed to narrow it down.
Was 2023 your hardest year? Because that was crazy good for me.
No, for me it was 2021 and 2022 actually.
Oh,
Those were some good
interesting.
reading years. I'll tell you the follow-up, like the runner-ups,
Yeah.
because I do have some juicy ones.
But speaking of moving, what's the situation, Raeleen?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I think elephant in the room is that we obviously aren't doing video right now. This is an audio-only
true.
episode, which I thought you were going to talk about when you talked about all the moves we've done in the podcast. I thought that's what you meant. Like, we've made some really cool strides, but we're, like, going backwards now. But no, this one is audio-only for a bunch of reasons, mostly we just didn't feel like doing video today.
Yes.
And it was just the logical thing to do for a multitude of reasons.
Many
but-
reasons. But
Yeah.
also we were like, throwback to what it was like before when it was
Yes,
only
exactly.
video.
I do feel like it's 2019 right now. You've really taken me back. I'm feeling young, feeling spry. But yeah, so, okay, here's the situation with the move. So it has now been exactly 1 week plus 2 days since we actually moved to this place. But over the past few weeks, Kyle and I, because we got the keys to this place on October 1st. It's currently October 20th. So we've had keys to the place for like a week and a half longer than we've actually been here. So we were like, well, let's just try and make our move day a little easier and like start moving some boxes over here and there. And so we did that, which I'm really glad we did. It made the move itself a lot easier. But on the move day, luckily we had 2 of Kyle's friends from work to help us with the move. And so we had one friend who helped us load up the truck, and then another friend helped us unload the truck.
Awesome.
Unloading the truck was very interesting. Usually I find unloading to be the easier part because you're not trying to fit things into a truck, and like I find that can often take longer. But it was much more difficult to move into this place because, for context, we moved from a like 2-bedroom apartment to a 3-bedroom townhome with multiple floors.
Yeah.
And the next part of this puzzle is that we have a king-size mattress.
Okay.
It was insane. Let me tell you. We have actually decided that next time we move, like when we move out of this place, that mattress is going out the window rather than down the stairs. Because it almost didn't happen. We almost had no bed. Kyle's friend was like, you guys aren't allowed to move that mattress down these stairs again. Like, I won't let you. And we were like, yeah, I hear you. So the move itself was a very, like, exhausting day. Yeah. But we were immediately so much more at peace in this place. Like, we felt so good here. Like, not only is the area quieter, the view is better. We don't have neighbors above, below, and next to us because we're not in an apartment, and nobody's moved in next door yet. So it's actually like the quietest it will probably ever be. But we just love this place. It's so nice. Kyle and I each get to have our own office now instead of just me having an office and him having a den. It's just like a lot more room for the kitties to run around in. Like, they were obviously stressed because of the move, like cats always are. But as soon as they got here, they were like, this place is pretty cool. Like, it was so
fun. You sent me the photos of them on the stairs and like running around up and down the stairs.
Willow doesn't know what stairs are. Like, when we first moved here, she had no idea what that was. She also doesn't know what carpet is. So it was very cute getting to see all that kind of happen for the first time. It has been very nice to see the cats getting comfortable and being more happy here. So that has all been very good. However, there have been a couple of interesting events as well. Uh-oh. Like I mentioned, we've only been here for a week and already 2 kind of things have happened. So the first day we moved here, it was like really warm. It was like 18 degrees, like a beautiful day. But then that night it dropped to like -4 and snowed. And we were like, whoa,
you
this
had
is
your
crazy.
first snow already.
Yes, it was very small. It was barely a dusting, but it did snow and it was really cold. And so we were like, whoa, this is so interesting. Okay. And so our new place has like, its little heat system. And we were like, all right, let's set this thing up so that we're not super cold and it's all going to be good. Next morning we woke up and we're like, it's a little cold, but we like it cold. So that's fine. But then later that night, it was starting to get really cold as well. And so we were like, I don't think so. I think something is wrong here. And so we were like trying to investigate our furnace, trying to see. And like, turns out there's this little like sensor thing that's supposed to be set up in your house so that it can sense the temperature. Mm-hmm. That wasn't set up. We thought maybe that was the problem, but it wasn't. There was completely something wrong with our furnace. We had to call our little like emergency line because apparently, I mean, it makes sense, but it's considered an emergency if your furnace is not working properly, especially when it's cold. Definitely. And so we were like, someone needs to come fix our furnace. It was like 14 degrees inside the house, which is pretty cold for inside. Yeah. And anyway, so that was the whole thing. A guy came and gave it like a temporary fix, and then a couple days later, they totally fixed it. So we're like, that's cool. Great. That's not a big deal. Like, it's fine. It was a minor inconvenience. That's very important,
though. Like, coming into a Calgary winter, you're gonna need a working thermostat and furnace.
Absolutely. Like, and it was just funny because it had been so warm that if it had just continued like that, we wouldn't have known about it for a while. Right. But we found out right away and got it fixed. So that's all good. Okay. But then, so a couple of days ago, basically, okay, here's the long story context. I have been wanting to take a bath ever since the day we moved because I was so sore, okay?
Yeah,
you hear me? So we have multiple bathrooms. There's like 3 separate showers. One of them has a tub. And we've just been using one shower just consistently just to keep things easy because we didn't want to buy a million shampoos, whatever. So we've just been using that one shower. Yeah. But a couple of days ago on Saturday, I was like, you know what? I think I'm finally going to take my bath. Yes. And so I did. It was great.
Here we go.
I loved the bath.
Okay.
I always take a bath and then shower after because I like my baths real hot. So, it's nice to just rinse off after. Yeah. So I started taking a shower and Kyle was just about to start cooking dinner. So he came up to talk to me and he kind of was like, the shower head is like doing something weird. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. It's kind of like squirting like backwards at the wall. That's kind of weird. And he was like, oh, maybe we just need to tighten something. So he starts tightening it. And I put my hand up to where the water is squirting. And I said, Kyle, that water is coming out of the wall.
Oh my God.
There was a tiny little hole in the paint that was shooting water. And so we immediately turned it off, of course. Yeah. And I have conditioner in my hair at this point. No. And I was like, what do we do? What do we do? He's like, I'm going to go make sure it's not leaking on like electronics and stuff. Like, I need to go see what's going on. And so I run to the other shower, finish showering quickly. And as I was walking to the other shower, though, what I heard, I'll never forget this. I heard Kyle say, water is dripping down the walls. And I said, what? And he couldn't hear me. He was like gone already. And I was like, oh okay, go finish washing my hair.
God,
So
no.
yeah, I literally had only had the shower running for maybe 5 minutes, which is part of what has made the situation not as bad as it could have been. But our furnace room was a big pool of water, and that's 2 floors down from where the shower is, mind you. So the water was dripping through the walls, down 2 whole levels. It was dripping out of the wall, out of like the underside of the stairs.
Jesus.
It was really scary. But luckily, another thing that's lucky about this is it was all just like down a staircase. Like there was no bedrooms, no stuff in that path. It was just like kitchen, stairs, basement kind of vibes. So we currently have like 7 fans that are like...
I can't even call them fans though. They're like industrial... I get yeah, like they are fans, but like they don't look like what people picture when they picture fans.
No,
they
if you look up like Service Master is the company that's doing the fix. If you look up Service Master like fans,
industrial fan,
like there's these huge things. They've got these things that are like pulling water out of the walls and dumping it into our these sinks and tubs and stuff. And they've been going now for almost 2 days. It'll be 2 daes like tonight. But they've been going nonstop. They are the loudest fans I've ever heard in my life. Like I hope that there isn't an ambient hum happening in the audio right now, but there's nothing I can do about it. The bathroom is like right next to me. Luckily I'm able to close the doors and everything, but there are so many fans and so many machines, and it is so loud that I like you can't think. You can't do anything.
No.
Like, we're in the kitchen trying to cook, Kyle and I together last night, and we're like, hey, can you bring the salt? It's like, we just, like, can't hear anything, like, because it's that loud.
How long do they have to go for?
Well, I'm hoping that they will stop them today. When the man came, well, there was many men, but one of them said that it would probably be about 48 hours is how long, like, that would be, I don't know, the beginning part of this is having those fans on for 48 hours. And this also all happened at night, of course, because I showered at night, and then the people didn't show up until, like, 11 o'clock. They were here until 1:30, 2 a.m. or something like that. It was just a fun night. And so, yeah, that's been my past couple of days.
That's so stressful, Raeleen. I mean, it's just sad because obviously a move is already so stressful.
I know.
You don't need anything else on top of it. So I'm sorry that this has happened. Just obviously it seems like it's all going to get sorted out. And it seems like the people are very responsive. Like everyone's
being 10,000 times better than anyone at our apartment ever was. Like, they are on it,
great.
And which I really like. Like, I appreciate them, and it's like, this isn't anyone's fault other than the plumber who installed it, I guess, but I don't know who that is, so I have no one to be mad at, you know? It's like, this is just a problem that's happening. It's out of our hands, which is why I'm being pretty chill about it.
Also, you have other bathrooms.
So exactly.
That's
exactly.
Huge.
That's the main thing. I'm sad because I would like to take another bath, but I can't. But yeah, like there's, it's not a very annoying thing. Like we were worried we were going to have to get like relocated to a hotel or something while they rip all the walls out of this place or something. And they were like, no, it's not that bad. It's not that dramatic. So it's all good. It could have been so much worse than it is. And it is annoying, and there's still more annoyance to come because there will be many renovations, but it's not our house. That's the nice thing. We're renting this place. It's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
Not exactly my problem. It's in my way, but it's not really my problem.
I saw how they taped all of the extension cords down. That's
very interesting. They did such a good job. Like, they were here for many hours, and now I know why. Like, after they left, I went, and I was like, wow, this place is, like, set. It's, like, they've really set it up well, and there's, like, blue masking tape X's wherever they, like, detected the most water. So, like, when you walk down the stairs, it's like, whoa, it's kind of cool, but... yeah, it's been annoying. Yeah, it's kind of funny to just like, we've been here for a week and this has now happened. But I'm just very thankful that I didn't try and take a bath on the first day. That's what I'm, that's what I'm holding on to, is that I waited a week. Because can you imagine dealing with all that the day we moved and the furnace? Like, it would have just been way too much.
Yes,
it would have been way
I'm really
too much,
glad you got a week to kind of settle in a little bit. You can't really settle in for like a month, like it takes a long time.
Exactly. We only just unpacked the day that this all happened. Like, we had just finished unpacking the last box, but nothing is organized. Nothing is where it needs to live.
Sure.
So yeah, like you said, it'll be a couple of weeks before we feel fully settled anyway.
Houses are so, I always get a lot of people who like comment on my videos or whatever. They're like, you should have just bought a new house if you didn't want problems. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if the house is
new houses have more problems sometimes.
New houses can be just installed really quickly and cheaply, and then they have worse problems. It's just every house has its thing. So that sucks, man. But I'm glad you seem optimistic to me. You seem optimistic.
It's funny actually. Yesterday was the day after it happened, and Kyle and I got up. I went and got my nails done. We went to Costco. We reloaded our food. Like, we just had a good day, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel sad or upset at all anymore. Like, it was stressful the day it happened, but we are both very, like, jolly now. Like, we're like, whatever. It is what it is.
I feel like that's a good sign that, like, overall the move is good. Like, this little thing isn't enough to ruin it because the move is such a positive move.
Exactly. The move has made both of us, like, 100 times happier than we were at the apartment. It was instantaneous. Wow. Even with problems, I feel way, way happier here. So
wow, yeah.
It was all good. Yeah, I'm just like, hopefully they don't make us move out. Hopefully they don't make us leave.
Yeah.
It's obviously
well, maybe they just make you move into the next unit.
That's true. There is an empty house right next to us. But yeah, it's all been good otherwise. But how about you, buddy? I don't know what's been going on with you at all.
Oof. Yeah, well, I've been away. I've been in Ontario.
Oh, yeah.
For like 4 days. So this is kind of funny because this is like my Eras tour. And what I mean by that
okay,
like, you know how when the Eras tour tickets went up for sale, people were like, I bought my tickets for 2 years from now or whatever. Like, people bought tickets so far in advance.
Yeah.
I've never bought tickets for anything that far in advance. At least nothing that I can think of. Like,
that's crazy.
But then last Christmas, December 2024, I opened up my Christmas present, my like main Christmas present from Connor.
Yeah.
And it was tickets to the Stardew Valley Symphony of Seasons.
I forgot about this.
And I remember opening it and I was like, wow, this is so exciting. When is it? And he was like, October. I was like, what?
That's crazy.
October of 2025. I was like, that's literally a year away.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Which doesn't change how thoughtful of a present it is. It was just like, wow, this is a really long wait, you know?
Yes.
Okay. And so I felt like I've had these tickets for my whole life. You know? Like, it just feels like I'm never going to this concert. It's just this concert I have to go to in a year.
Right.
It's just like forever in the future. Anyways, it was this weekend. It was this past weekend. And so the concert was in Ottawa. But it was the weekend after Thanksgiving. So we basically went to Kingston to visit Connor's family for basically a couple days of belated Thanksgivingness.
Yeah.
And then just did a day in Ottawa for the concert. Raeleen, I was kind of sad that you didn't come to this with me.
That would have been so cute.
It doesn't make any sense that we would have gone together, like, at all. But, like, it was just the most Raeleen thing I've ever seen. Everyone looked like you. What I mean by that... What I mean by that is that everyone had glasses, dyed hair, lots of tattoos, and dressed cozy. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
I know
cozy,
exactly what you mean. We're a breed. People who love Stardew is a kind of specific type of person.
There's this interesting, cute, cozy vibe of it. And I was just like, I am surrounded by Raeleens right now. It was amazing. And the other thing was that it was like astounding. We kept noticing it was always a boyfriend who was kind of straight-laced, like just wearing jeans and a flannel shirt with his cool alt girlfriend. And I was just like, everywhere. They were everywhere. It was just, it was beautiful. It was just so beautiful because I was like, it must have been like what Connor did for me. Like, all these boyfriends must have bought their cool gamer girlfriends this tickets to the game that they like.
So
How cute is that? It was... So the crowd was really adorable, and like it was at the National Arts Center, which was just so like such a stunning venue, like an opera hall type thing, like for a symphony, right? So the place was really pretty, and I just love seeing people dressed a bit fancy. Like, I just like a formal night out. Yeah. I just feel like that's really fun. And I took my wedding shoes, and it was fun to wear my wedding shoes to something else, because I was like, I really don't want these shoes to only be worn once. Like, I really want to keep using them. So it was fun to have another reason to use them. But most importantly, of course, was the music. And the music was beautiful.
Yay.
Obviously, the music is like 16-bit or 32-bit or whatever. It's like lo-fi-y video game music.
Yeah.
but in real life with a symphony, it was just so stunning because it wasn't MIDI.
Wow.
It wasn't like MIDI keys and notes and everything. It was just like an incredible flautist and this harpist with this huge harp and all the violins and the bass, and there was a huge percussion section, and we had crazy good seats. We were in the third row.
Oh my God.
So we could see so much stuff, and the composer was so into it, which was really beautiful. Get this. Apparently, we got there like, I feel like we got there maybe 30 minutes before it started, or 20 minutes before it started. But I think maybe an hour before it started, they'd done a poll of people that were already there.
Ooh, a poll.
Of who is the best Stardew villager. And
Whoa.
then at the intermission, they announced who had won.
Okay.
And it was like nobody wins anything. It was just like for fun. And this person that won in Ottawa was apparently the same person that had won at every single other Canadian city. Can you guess who Canadians keep voting as the best Stardew villager?
Okay, I mean, my initial thought is Leah, but I would also say Abigail, but I could be totally wrong. It's every villager. It's not even just...
Yeah, it's not just the marriageable ones. It's anyone.
Or it could be Krobus. Those are my 3 answers. I don't know which one's right.
It was Krobus.
Oh, amazing.
And
He's my favorite. He's the
everyone
best.
laughed. And Connor was like, why? Like afterwards, he was like, why was everyone laughing? I was like, I don't get the whole Krobus thing. I was like, he's not even that useful, but like everyone loves Krobus. Raeleen married Krobus. So I was like, I just don't get it. And he was like, oh, okay. And I showed him like who Krobus is.
Yeah,
and
like when you see him.
it's because he's cute. And
He's a little buddy. That's why. It's because he is like pure of heart. He's a little creature. Like he's not a human. He's just like odd. He's very shy. I love him.
Pure of heart.
He is.
No, it's true. It's true. But it was just like a really fun night. It was like I guess there's just a meta interesting thing there of like an art form that for a very, very long time has been seen as geeky, nerdy, whatever, right? Like video games.
Yeah.
Being elevated to the level of being played on a stage that
So cool.
any classical musician that's like trying to play the best venues in the world would play at this place, right? And like these musicians are some of the best around. So it's just like the best musicians playing in the best venues, playing the soundtrack to Stardew Valley. Like it was just really interesting.
Yeah, beautiful.
And some girls came up to me and said hi, which was nice. So that was cute. So I got to meet some lovely subscribers, and yeah, it was just a really nice night. I also had a charcuterie board for dinner, so that's always the best kind of night.
Wow. That's incredible. That reminds me, I made myself a baked brie for the first time ever. Like I've had it before, but I've never made it myself. But Kyle and I have done a lot of fun shopping. We've gone to lots of fun stores, and I got this. You're going to love this, actually. I should send you a picture. We got a brie baking dish that has a little lid, and it's an acorn, Ariel. Oh, it's an acorn.
That's the kind of thing our child Books Unbound would love.
Exactly. I would give that to him, to our little guy.
Did you put honey on it?
I did, because I know that's what you like to do, and we don't really have, like, we didn't have a lot of other options. Like, I am more of a savory brie type of girl. Like, I would like herbs and garlic, but we didn't have all that, and Kyle likes sweet, so I was like, let's try a honey one, and it was amazing. It was really good.
That's how I always make it. Yeah. Honey. Yum.
Cheese.
Cheese. Wow. Yeah. So we also just had a lot of fun visiting Connor's family for a few days, and yeah, but it has been a little busy the last few weeks. We also like have been doing a lot of driving in and out of town because obviously it was Thanksgiving as well. That's the other thing.
That's true.
That we, like, kind of
we moved on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we went to a Thanksgiving, like we had Thanksgiving with my parents, but we also went and had a different Thanksgiving dinner with our friends. And then we went back into Halifax for our friend who had a show going on. So it was just like a lot of back and forth. Yeah. It's been kind of a busy few weeks, and I'm pretty excited to not have too much. Actually, this week is complete. Oh, you know what's the other thing? Wait, there was another thing I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm having a series of tests done, medical tests.
Ooh,
I won't go too much into it until I understand what the hell's going on here. But I got an ECG done, echocardiogram. Have you ever had an echocardiogram done?
Is that the heart one?
Yeah, where they like put a bunch of stickers on you.
Yes, I have had that done.
Yeah, I had that done like 10 years ago, and then again, maybe not that long ago. How old am I? Well, closer to 10 years, yeah. Anyways, and then I had it done again, and it was pretty fun. And then afterwards, I saw my heart. Beautiful. A beautiful heart. It's a really strong, beautiful heart. So
That's awesome.
nobody has to worry about my heart.
That's good. That's good. Love to hear it.
I also went to a doctor's appointment where we did a quote unquote neurological test. But
Ooh.
like, it was just basically, I was like, oh, this will be fun. I love a little test, you know? Like at the eye doctor when they're like, look at the balloon. The air balloon, and I'm just like, I'm looking, and they're like, keep following it with your eyes, and like, do you see the green boat? And I'm like, I see it. I love a test. I love a test.
Yeah.
But
It's
the
nice.
quote unquote neurological test felt like calibrating a Wii or something. Because he was like, touch your nose, and I was like, oh, and I touched it as fast as I could. I don't know why I felt like speed was an important part
test.
of proving my neurological capacities.
funny.
But anyways, I touched my nose, and he was like, touch my finger. And he'd move, and he'd touch my other finger. And then I'd just be like touching stuff. Boop, boop,
Oh my
boop, boop, boop.
gosh.
And he's like, okay, you did perfect. And I was like, yes! And
So
I'm
you're
like,
all
who
calibrated.
am I proving that to? Yeah, I felt calibrated.
That's really nice. That's awesome.
Okay, let's talk about books. You know, I think that I'm going to name this episode something like a pathetic little book update.
I love that.
Celebrating 6 years with a pathetic book update.
Yeah, something quaint, something to
You
lower the
know,
expectations.
Yeah, Raeleen and I, as you can hear, have both been pretty busy. Me maybe with more travel-y stuff, Raeleen with a much harder moving situation on her hands. But either way, it's been a pretty busy week. So I think we don't have that much to update, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't have much, but my update is strange. Let's tell you
Okay,
that.
yeah, lay it on us.
Okay, so like obviously I haven't been reading much at all, and the other day though I had a couple of hours where I was like, you know what, I think I do want to sit down and read, but I want to read something that's just like easy, dumb, and quick. And so I ended up picking up a book that I actually, when I bought it, I never intended to ever read this, but I decided that now was the perfect time. And that book is Fear Street Cat by R.L. Stein.
Okay.
R.L. Stein was born in 1943, making him 82 years old, in Columbus, Ohio. His Goosebumps books have sold over 400 million copies globally, making it the second best-selling book series in history. The Fear Street series comprises over 100 novels, including spin-offs, and has been ongoing since 1989. Cat is the 45th book in the original series and was published in 1997. Part of the reason I wanted to read this is because I've been rewatching Stranger Things in anticipation of the new season. And to me, Stranger Things and Fear Street are now very linked together because of the Fear Street trilogy, the movies that came out a few years ago. There's a lot of Stranger Things vibes in that. Some of the same actors are in that. And so to me, they're kind of in the same boat. Like they're a very similar thing. And so I was like, you know what? I should read a Fear Street book. And this is, of course, the only one I own. I bought this, turns out in 2022. I looked back through my spreadsheets to see when I bought this. And I bought it in 2022 at a book sale. And I just bought it for my cat collection because I was like, this looks dumb. I'm not going to read this. But I decided to read it because of all the reasons I've already said, but also because I still needed to read a cat book for my Shrek quest. And I have not been in the mood for a cozy cat book. That's the problem.
That's funny.
I wanted to read something different, but still a cat book. And so I was like, wait, this is perfect. So I read this. It's only like 130 pages long, as are most of R.L. Stein's books. And I haven't read a Fear Street book since I was probably like 10 or 11, but I used to love these. I loved Goosebumps, and then when I got a little bit older, I was like, ooh, Fear Street. My particular favorites are the Fear Street Cheerleaders books. I'm still I'm so mad at myself for getting rid of those when I was a 16-year-old who was like, I don't need these anymore, but now I want them again.
What percentage of adult women who have dyed hair and tattoos do you think loved Goosebumps as children?
What percentage?
Yeah,
like 95?
Yeah, I think that's a high crossover situation.
I think definitely. Like,
it's like an early predictor.
That's true. Like, I love horror now. Obviously, I loved Goosebumps as a kid, and I have green hair, so that all just it all works out. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
That's
thing.
really funny.
I'd love to hear from more people with colored hair and glasses. Did you love Goosebumps as a kid? But yeah, this book was not very good, but it was exactly what I needed.
Fun. Okay,
It was very fun. I read it in a couple of sittings. plot summary. Basically, it's just so funny, like, thinking about a plot summary for these books. They're all so, like, ridiculous, but the main character is this guy named Marty, and he is in high school, and he loves basketball. He has two best friends. They all love basketball. And there's this cat that lives under the bleachers in the gym at their school that always, like, bugs them. Like, it's just kind of there, and it'll, like, run around sometimes, and they're like, this cat has got to go. And so they're always trying to chase it out of there. One day they catch the cat, and then in just trying to, like, kind of get it out of the gym, Marty accidentally kills the cat.
No.
But then the cat starts to, like, haunt him. Like, it's a little bit like Pet Sematary for kids is how I would describe this book.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, it's just, like, about a haunting and just, like, this annoying main character, as I'm sure are most of the characters in these books. There's a little bit of murder along the way. Things are pretty dicey. It's not that scary. It might have been scary if I was a kid, but it wasn't scary at all. And it just wasn't very well written, you know. I just feel like it's a weak Fear Street book. I'm sure there are better ones, but, like, I do genuinely love the cheerleader ones, and I'm sure that they would still hold up for me. But this one was just, like, it was not very good.
That's okay, though.
It was interesting. It was a fun little vibe. But, I mean, that's the only thing I have actually read. Before we moved, I read a little bit more of The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. So I am, like, halfway through that now, but I haven't looked at it in, like, a couple of weeks. So I don't really have much to say on that. It is pretty grim, though, I will say. Yeah. So this book is about this family that lives next door to this other family, and the people that live next door basically end up adopting kind of the two cousins because their parents died. And the aunt who, like, took them in is so horrible. And I thought this book was going to be about, like, kids bullying each other, but this is about, like, an adult woman being very cruel to her nieces. And it's just, like, very stressful. It's very stressful, and I think it's going to escalate to something very, very bad. And it's based on a true story, too, which is the scariest part of all. So after I'm done reading this, I definitely want to look into that more, because I'm like, this is really haunting stuff. Whoa. Really scary. But yeah, I am enjoying it, and I think I'm going to jump back into it now that I've kind of settled in a little bit, because I do really want to get into the Halloween spirit.
Yeah.
And normally October is one of my biggest months for reading. Like, I read tons of horror books and just, like, have a really good time. And so far, October has been so busy and hectic that I just haven't been able to, which is a little annoying. But hopefully I can squeeze in a couple more books before October's over. That's my goal.
Well, I have a pretty dodgy little update here.
Okay. Say less.
I have made progress on the Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and I'm really enjoying it. And the reason that I have not made more progress through it is really nothing to do with the book. It's just with how busy I've been.
Yeah.
So that one is still, like, to me, the book I'm reading, you know, psychologically.
Yeah.
But the other book that I am making a lot of progress through, actually, is The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker. Ooh, I don't know if you remember, I hauled this last year.
Yeah.
And it was because I did that Anne of Green Gables trip to Prince Edward Island. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends that, like, was co-hosting the trip with me, actually both of the other people who were co-hosting the trip with me really recommended this book, but especially my friend Natalie. And they were like, we really recommend it, like, especially if you're interested in gatherings and group dynamics. And one of the things we talked a lot about throughout on that trip, like the three of us, was just, like, parties, like hosting parties for your friends and things. And it was so exciting because I was like, I think we had just hosted the Hot Ones party that we'd done, and, like, we had been, and we'd done, like, the talent show that we do for Connor's birthday, and I was able to tell them all about, like, how elaborate we get with our Christmas parties and stuff. And they were telling me about the really cool parties and gatherings that they do. And, like, yeah, it was really cool to talk to other people who are, like, into hosting, like, as a concept. And so they both recommended this book to me, and I was like, that sounds really cool. So I decided to pick this one up, and I'm loving it. It's really interesting. The reason that I've made more progress on this one is because I'm listening to the audiobook version.
Nice.
And so when I was on the plane to and fro from Ontario, the plane did not have TVs. Like, there was, I couldn't watch a movie. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll listen to an audiobook, and then which one? And I landed on that one, and I was like, actually, yeah. And I'm really glad I took the book with me, because I basically held the book in my lap and would just listen and like close my eyes and listen to the book. Yeah. And then whenever something interesting would go, I'd find it and then I'd underline it and then keep listening. So it was kind of like partly reading the book, partly not. And then I have done that I did that on the way there, on the way back. And then last night I listened to the book for another like hour while I was just I was knitting. I decided to knit a scarf.
I love to hear that.
I was so scared to tell you because, like, what if I don't finish it? But whatever. That's
okay.
Knitting a
That's
narf.
okay.
Knitting
That's cool.
a narf. Knitting a scarf. And I was just like, yeah, I'll have the book right next to me, and I would just like flip the page as I'm going. So it's better for me than not having the book there because you can just glance over and follow along and underline. So it feels still like I'm kind of reading the physical thing. Even though it's being read to me. Yeah, it's a nice little combo. I'm enjoying the book a lot, and there's some really fun, like, I said to Connor last night, I was like, because he's enjoying, I'm telling him all about it, and we're thinking about our upcoming Christmas party, and, like, all the things, and me and my brother and Connor host this Christmas party every year, and when CJ was here for Thanksgiving, we had a big conversation about our Christmas party, and CJ and me and Connor, we were pitching ideas, and we were really dreaming big, you know, and that's what inspired me to finally start this book as well. I was like, I pulled it down from the shelf, I started flipping through it, and then I chose it as the audiobook because of that. Anyways, it's like so fun to read it because Connor will be like, well, what did you just read about? Like, what did you take away? And yesterday I was like, get this. She says the party doesn't start when, like, the guests arrive. The party starts the second they get the invite.
Whoa.
And it's like, oh, shit.
I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah.
For things I've planned, like when Julia and I planned a really elaborate birthday party for Rebecca, like, I mean, it started even before before she got the invite, I think, because we like had so much to do. But yeah, the moment she got the invite, it was like, now she knows something's happening, and now she has clues, and she's like can start thinking about it.
Yes. When does it start for your guests? It's like, it starts the second they know about it. And she calls it like the moment of discovery, I think. Like the second that someone knows that the event is happening, that's when it started. Because now they're planning around it. They're thinking about what they're going to wear. They're thinking about what it's going to be like. They're wondering how, like, what other people are going, what activities and food there's going to be. Like, they've already started to, like, inhabit it a little bit. Yeah. And you have so many fun opportunities to, like, myth build basically and like create even more hype and even more vibe before it's even begun, so that when it's begun there's already all this groundwork set down. And I'm just like, totally agree, Priya. It's also interesting reading this book right after having done my wedding, because that's like one of the most elaborate events I'll ever plan.
No kidding.
And it's very it's very validating, because she's like, one of the top tips is to make sure that there's movement throughout your event. So like, don't do everything in the exact same place, or else your memories of a thing all group together and like soup together kind of. Yeah. Whereas if you do things in different distinct locations and like try and have movement in between them, people remember them more. They speak, like, there's more of a journey that everyone goes on together. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's what we did for my wedding. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, you know? And anyways, there was like a lot of stuff. It's very, very interesting. I don't think it's like the perfect book for this kind of thing, in that, like, how do I put this? This is also about like corporate meetings. It's also about like how to make, like, it's the art of gathering. Yeah. So it's just gathering on the corporate level, parties level, dinner party level, but also just like large office things. And like, she's like talking about doing important meetings at work. And so a lot of it is a little bit like not as fun, but that's okay. I'm still really enjoying it. There's still lots to take from it.
That's awesome.
Okay, now I have 3 books to haul. Up first, I have Down and Out in Paris and London. Now you might be thinking, don't you already own that book? I had to go into Lunenburg the other week to pick something up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to the bookshop where we got married, because on the wedding day, Raeleen, the photographer was like, I should take a photo of you stamping a book. Because of how cool the stamp is. And I was like, hell yeah, you're right. And I was like, oh, I don't have a book. Like, I was in my dress and had my bouquet. I didn't have my book, right? Or a book. And so I don't know who I think it might have been me actually, but I was like, I'll just get a George Orwell. And there was someone I think it was Connor, put a bunch of George Orwells behind where we were getting married. And so I just ran over and grabbed one, or someone grabbed it for me. And so I stamped this copy of Down and Out in Paris and London. And then this is photographed. It's in lots of our key photos. But I then left, then kept doing stuff. I never bought this book.
That's so funny.
And so it has sat in that bookshop for 2 months. And I was like, I wonder if it's still there, because it's actually kind of an emotional book for me.
Yeah, can you imagine if someone else had bought it and was like, why is this stamp in here? This just happened.
It's just it's just this giant stamp that says, I got this book at Ariel and Connor's wedding. So I was really glad it was still there, and I purchased it.
That's incredible. So that's a cute copy too. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a great addition. And then for it was $5 each for these books. And they're in kind of rough shape, but they're very pretty. I got Silas Marner by George Eliot. God, this kind of pocket-sized thing, you guys. It's
best.
it's basically as tall as an iPhone and maybe it's 1 1/3 wide of an iPhone, you know?
I love that measurement style.
It's just, thank you. It's actually super handheld. One hand.
It's like a hardcover pocketbook almost.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I love this size.
Me too.
So I saw this at a thrift shop and I got it. And similar, this is so funny, Raeleen. I got The Sea Fogs by Robert Louis Stevenson, which is a short story, I think, of his, or a novella. Oh, wow. Someone hand wrote in it, Park School Library, 1928.
Wow.
Good Lord. But look at how unbelievably beautiful each page is. I'll definitely put a photo of this one on the Instagram. Each page is just beautifully letterpressed. They're all cool. It's just gorgeous. But here's what's so funny, Raeleen. Okay, I'm in the thrift store. I see these 2 little books. I think, oh, that's pretty. The Sea Frogs. I've never heard of that. I start flipping through the book. Everywhere it obviously says Sea Fogs.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my brain has clicked onto Sea Frogs.
Yeah.
And I look it up while I'm in the bookshop. In the thrift shop. And I was like, The Sea Frogs by Robert Louis Stevenson. Barely anything comes up. I was like, wow, this must be a kind of a forgotten short story of his.
Yeah.
I'll just buy it. I buy it. I come home. And as I'm showing Connor and CJ what I got, I'm like, and look, the sea. And in that moment, I actually read it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, it's The Sea Fogs by Robert. My God. I really thought it was The Sea Frogs.
I like that. You should remember it as such forevermore.
That's so funny. So yeah, so I got some cute little classics. Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
I'm really on a mode right now. We'll see what happens.
And I just wanted to say on the record that you have inspired me a lot as well in terms of classics. I organized my bookshelves. My bookshelves are kind of not organized except for my classics section.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you'll remember, I have a skinnier bookshelf that I put in between the 2 bigger ones.
Yeah.
That one I tried to fill up as much as possible with classics. It's nowhere near full, but I have 4 of the shelves or something are organized with classics, and they're I feel like they're in a place of pride right now. They're front and center, and I want to buy more. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I haven't read any, but I want to buy more, and that's the start.
That's where it all begins.
Yes.
All right, shall we do a little walk down memory lane?
Oh, sure, why not?
All right, so we just thought it would be fun to kind of go over the past 6 years and pick our favorite book of the year for each year. Should we go backwards or start in 2019?
I think we should start at the beginning.
Okay. Well, how about you start for everyone? So what do you have for 2019?
Man, so 2019 was kind of funny. I only just realized this morning that we didn't necessarily talk about all these books on the podcast, because 2019 we went through 8 months of the year before we started the podcast.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Or 9 months of the year. And so I was looking back at this list and I was like, wow, so many strange things. I read so many books in 2019. I was a manga fanatic. So a lot of what I read was manga. But ultimately, there was one book that clearly stood out for 2019, and that is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey
That was
Niffenegger.
the first time you read that?
Yes, I've only read it once, and it was 2019.
Wow.
I don't know what month, because I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me right now, but it was sometime in 2019, which feels crazy to me that this was 6 years ago already. I really need to reread that. But yeah, that one became an instant favorite for me. when I read it.
Wow. Yeah, looking through 2019, it's pretty clear, it's pretty obvious, but I don't think at the time maybe I did realize. I should just go back and listen to what I had to say about it, but it's Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata,
nice.
which I read right at the end of the year. I didn't used to track the day that I read it, I think. Or I don't think I did. Anyways, I read it, and I have to say that book really changed my reading, because I had read some Japanese and Korean translated books previous to, like, specifically The Vegetarian. I know I'd read before that, and I feel like there was one or two others. But this one kind of like
sparked something.
Made me really want to keep reading Japanese and Korean translated books. So anyways, that one, and now also that one's like obviously one of the ones we talk about the most.
Yeah, so it's cool that you read it in 2019. I know I read it in 2020 because of you, because I was like, well, I need to read this book, and so I did. But yeah,
that's crazy.
That's awesome. Okay, on to 2020. So I read quite a few good books. I'll give you the two runners up before I tell you the winner. So in 2020, I read The Priory of the Orange Tree and 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. Those were very close seconds, but ultimately the book that won for 2020 was The Secret History by Donna Tartt.
Wow.
Yeah, which is also still feels crazy to me that this was 5 years ago that I read this now. Like, this book really got me. And I've been, hunting for something as good as this ever since, but, it just hasn't quite happened. Like, I mean, specifically like a dark academia vibe. Like, I've read a few books like that, and it's just like, no. Nothing's as good.
No, that's interesting. Well, my 2021 really is just clear as a bell. Albatross by Terry Fallis. In a way, I feel like I've always read this book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always been there.
It's always been there. It was just such a lark. And I remember buying it. I remember I think this had to do with a sports mode. Because I remember the bookshop where I bought it. I remember buying another sports book at the same time, or maybe almost buying it, which is so funny that this like really stands out in my head. I remember the aisle of the bookstore I was standing in. I remember considering should I buy it or not. I remember taking it home. I don't remember then how long it was between buying it and reading it or whatever. But then when I read it, I think obviously, like, I also read it in 2020, which was a brutal year for us all. And I wonder if that was like, no, I read it in March. So right before in Canada, the pandemic kind of really hit.
Yeah.
And so that's so fascinating to think that this was like one of the last things I read before everything changed so much.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy,
wow.
Crazy. Okay.
I love that book, though. It's so funny. I feel like I haven't read a book that funny since I read that book.
That's true. I wish that I read more funny books. That's something that we need, I think, every now and then.
That is something to think about, actually.
Accepting recommendations. Thank you. Okay, so 2021 was another really big year for me in terms of reading some really juicy favorites. So the ones that didn't quite make it to number one are Crying in H Mart, A Little Life, and Five Little Indians. Those are books that the bangers. All of them bangers.
I can't believe something beat Five Little Indians.
I know, that book is so good. But there is a book that I read in 2021 that comes up more in my brain. And I think about more. And that book is Wild by Cheryl Strait.
Oh,
I love this book so much. And it will forever be one of my favorite memoirs ever. And like... You know, when you read a book and you just, like, love the author because of reading the book?
Yeah.
Like I love her as a person. I'm like,
totally.
I like her and I want her to succeed. But yeah, that's...
We really need to reread
I know,
that.
I've been meaning to. I almost reread it on my last trip. Because you had the great idea of, you told me I should reread something. I ended up rereading Convenience Store Woman instead of Wild. But Wild was so close to getting reread. But soon.
Wow. All right, well, mine for 2021, again, hands down, no competition, Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, God, yeah.
When I tell people that, like, I only read Anne of Green Gables for the first time in 2021, they're astounded. Because it's become such a huge part of my, like, personality that it feels, again, like Lena and Claire, I shared this on the podcast, they gifted me an edition of Anne of Green Gables that they both annotated. Yeah. Which is such a beautiful gift. But they thought I'd read it as a child.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, no, I read it like 4 years ago.
crazy.
And they were like, what? Like, we thought this was like your childhood favorite book. And I'm like, I wish.
It would have been.
I wish that I'd read it as, it would have been. But it's true though, like this book was one of my most mashed potato TBR books of all time.
Yeah.
Like every year I was like, I've got to read Anne of Green Gables. I specifically remember filming a video in 2013 where I talked about Anne of Green Gables. And I remember it because I was sitting outside of my house at the time. And I was really cold because it was October but I was filming this like TBR or something.
Yeah.
And I remember being really cold, but talking about I had just purchased this copy of Anne of Green Gables. Anyways, I have been meaning to read it forever because it is the Canadian classic. Mm-hmm. It is the most popular, most successful Canadian book of all time. Maybe now like The Handmaid's Tale, but like The Handmaid's Tale I don't think has as much, only because of the TV show. Obviously, people know the show, but I don't think people read The Handmaid's Tale as much as they read Anne of Green Gables, like as an actual book. I think you're probably right,
yeah.
And so anyways, it's just such a huge book, and I was like, I've got to read it. And when I finally read it, it was just like, of course it's this.
Yeah, that just makes perfect sense.
And now, and like another reason that I'm happy for it to be the number one of that year is because it's kind of influenced my reading for the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
This year I've been reading loads of the sequels. I've reread that book now 3 times.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. But makes perfect sense.
Yep. All right, 2022?
2022 was probably the most banger reading year I've had in the past while.
Wow.
2023, I found a new favorite of all time, but like 2022, I read a lot of really good new favorites.
Okay.
So the runners up for this year were Letters to a Young Gymnast. That book you got me. I love that book. The Dishwasher. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Foe by Ian Reid. So good.
Ooh.
And I read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy that year, which was probably the memoir of that year.
That was 2022?
I know.
Okay, that's actually very surprising.
I know. I would have told, if you had asked me, I would have said, I don't know, 2024. Like, it feels
That's
like
what I would have said.
It feels like it just happened.
I feel like that was last year's book.
It really did.
Wow.
But
okay.
The book that I ultimately chose as the winner for 2022 is Pachinko by Min Jin Lee.
Oh, great
Because
choice.
this is one of those books that I just feel like is already a classic. Like, it was everything. It's got everything you want in a book. Like, it's very readable, but it's also, about family and about going through hard things and like, it's just like so good. Like, it made me feel a lot of similar feelings that I had when I read The Book Thief as a kid. Like, it was like, whoa, history's crazy, man. But like, this was so good and so like human and just amazing. Wow. I really, really love that book.
Okay, my 2022 one. Wait, well, I just will say I gotta read Pachinko.
You really
damn
should.
It.
Yeah. You gotta.
Okay, my 2022 one. Another just clear as day answer here, not complicated. Mm-hmm. It's just Ballad for Sophie by Philippe Melo and Juan Cavia. I mean, I'm a big graphic novels lover, love a graphic novel, have read a lot of graphic novels, and this is hands down the best graphic novel I've ever read. So, there you go.
That's incredible. You know what that beat then? Just for the people so they know? The Blue Castle.
No, the Blue Castle was 2023.
Oh, I thought we were on 2023. Sorry.
No, sorry, don't you worry.
I was like, what? I was already looking at the next thing on mine. So.
Whoa.
Okay.
No, that was 2022. 2022. But like, I guess I'll just start 2023 with the Blue Castle by Lucy Montgomery.
Yeah, it's obvious. I know because I know what mine is for 2023.
Yes.
We have a dual thing going on there.
Yeah, we really do. So for me, 2023 was apparently the greatest reading year of my life because the other books that I kind of had to jostle between were True Grit by Charles Portis, which I adored, and 84 Charing Cross Road.
Dang.
Which just like, they were, God, so many heavy hitters, but The Blue Castle is the favorite book of that year. And so it is interesting that in the last 6 years, 2 of my favorite books are by Lucy Maud Montgomery.
Yeah, that's really telling.
Yeah, that is cool.
Would you say that she's like your second favorite author now? Like next to George Orwell? That makes a lot of sense to me.
Like hands down without a doubt.
Easy.
The physical version of like that proves that is that I have a George Orwell shelf and I have a Lucy Maud Montgomery shelf. Yeah. I don't have a whole shelf devoted to any other author.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's like me with, I have so many Stephen King books. He takes up possibly more than one shelf. Like if I put them just stacked normally, they would probably take up like a shelf and a half, but I have them like stacked vertically so that I can fit as many as possible. But yeah, that's awesome. Well, the obvious thing for 2023 for me is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. Obviously, like there was that was one where it was like nothing came even close. Like I read some other awesome books that year as well, but there's just no way anything could ever beat that. Like that's my favorite book I've read in the past decade, at least, for sure. Like hands down.
Well, 2024. This is an interesting one.
Ooh.
Last year, I read the most I've read in a really long time. I think I did 74. I don't want to lie. What did I do? 70. Right. 70. Let's not get ahead of ourselves there. 70. But for context, I usually read around 30 books a year. So reading 70, I mean, is more than double, which is just amazing. But it wasn't a very good reading year.
Yeah.
Like even the 2 5 stars, and I do have a favorite book, and I really love this book. I had an amazing time reading it. But like even I'm just like, I'm surprised that there aren't way more super 5-star reads. Yeah. So it just shows like quality isn't quantity, of course. But the book I did choose was Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley, which was my first ever real biography that I'd read, where it was just like one author writing about another author's life in great detail, taking you on the journey of their life. And in this situation, like Lucy Worsley framed it by where Jane Austen had lived. Like the kind of chapters were built around her different homes, which I really enjoyed specifically because I really am interested in homes and stuff. So it just worked for me on many levels. I also listened to the audiobook for it, and I just like, I cried. I cried when Jane Austen died. Spoiler, she died 200 years ago or whatever. But like when she dies, I just like lost it. I was just like, wow, I really felt like I had lived her life with her while I listened to this really long audiobook, you know? The other book that I do want to do an honorary shout out to is The True Deceiver by Tove Jansson. We read that one in 2024 and I really loved it.
Yeah, that was a big one for you. Yeah, well, my 2024 was pretty easy. We all know what I picked as my favorite book last year. And I, like, in opposite to you, I read the least last year that I have in the past however many years. Like, I only read like 44 books or something, and I usually read closer to 100. I will say that is changing as I get older. Like, I'm definitely not reading that much anymore. But yeah, I didn't read that many books. And so I only had a few that really stood out as favorites. But the obvious one that was at the top was The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, of course.
Oh, right.
That book was, like, particularly when I read it, it had been such a long time since I had felt like really immersed in a book where you just don't want to put it down and you like just don't want to stop reading at all. That doesn't happen to me that often anymore. As I'm reading less and less books, it's just like finding those little gems. And this one for me was that gem. And I think I read it at the perfect time. I think I read it in like August or something. If it wasn't in August, that's when I think everyone should read this book. It's the perfect time to read this book. End of August. Wow, it's perfect.
All right, well, we're going to do 2025, right? Are we going to do this year?
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that.
Okay, we don't have to.
I feel like it's a spoiler.
I know, it is kind of a spoiler. Okay, we won't do it. I thought we were doing like 6 years, 6 books, but I also am like, but we still have 3 months left.
Yeah, like we could pick one, but it might change.
Yeah, we should wait on it. Those are the top books of the previous years. Yeah. All right, that is our breakdown of our top books of the last many years. Let's now shift over to the mailroom. Okay, I got some comments from YouTube to read to you, Raeleen. Okay. Kim Hodgson says, in all caps, in quotation marks, to get to their hearts. Yes, out loud, along with you, every time. So last time I had asked, I wonder if people will say the intro with me. And so many people said that they do.
I just knew it.
Listen to this one. Alice with a pen says, LMAO, I absolutely recite the opening along with Ariel and politely let Raeleen respond.
That's nice. Thank you so much.
With your hosts, Ariel and then there's that little Raeleen. Little Beth MW28 says, I say the intro along with you to my 8-month-old daughter, just in case she recognizes what time it is and plays more quietly. She also says her dad is Canadian. We're in the UK. So I like to make sure she hears Canadian accents whenever she can. So she probably thinks you're family, the same as when we ring the in-laws on FaceTime.
Oh my gosh.
I basically feel like Beth's daughter is our niece.
Yeah, we're aunties now. So
yeah, we're aunties. This reminds me, yesterday when we were driving home from the airport, I was in control of the music, which is very rare because usually I drive and Connor plays the music. But yesterday I was playing the music, and I started playing Avril Lavigne, as I usually get to an Avril Lavigne point every drive. And I played her cover of How You Remind Me, the Nickelback song. Have you heard her cover?
No, that sounds like it'd be awesome.
Oh, it's one of her best songs, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
But anyways, and it just made me realize like something I've thought about before, but it's just really funny. That song only works, like the chorus, the rhyming chorus only works with a Canadian accent.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because you have to rhyme story with sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I'm gonna have to listen to that song after I'm recording.
And like then we listened to the Nickelback version because we were like, let's compare them, and it's the same thing. It's like story, sorry, and I'm like, yeah, you can only rhyme them in a Canadian accent. Sorry and sorry. How do they say it? Sorry. That sounds so high. That feels so high up in the mouth. Sorry. Story, but everyone says story. Maybe we also accentuate the O in story. No, I think everyone says story, right? Story. Starry. No, yeah, they're saying story.
I think so.
Anyway, I felt very Canadian. I was like, yeah, it's Avril Lavigne and Nickelback, so they both have Canadian accents, so it's fine. Yeah. They can sing it. Okay, this is funny. I mentioned Jerome K. Jerome in the last episode, and I think I mentioned 3 Men in a Boat. And I just wanted to contrast these two comments. Okay. Because it's just like humans, you know? The first one is from Vibe Have 6826. 3 Men in a Boat is the most boring novel ever written. I read it in college, not a fan. Okay. That's the whole comment. Next comment from Angela Luce 405. 3 Men in a Boat is hilarious. I loved it. It's a boat book and it's short, so Ariel could get through it quickly to help with the boat goal. Well, and I was just like, that's the dichotomy of man right there.
Yeah, seriously. I know. I think about that a lot. I'm like, I'm sure The Great Gatsby would be boring to like half the world. Like, not a lot happens, but I don't care.
The glory about such a great book like The Great Gatsby, though, is that, like, yes, there are people that dislike it, but I don't think it's half the world. I feel like most people agree that that's a great book. Whenever I meet someone who doesn't like The Great Gatsby, I'm like, is he okay? I'm just really confused.
I don't know about this.
Okay. You know when you try and give someone the benefit of the doubt, but the whole time you're like, I don't know about that take, though. Okay, at Carrie Gan Williams 4500 says, this is the last one that I pulled. I'm a newer listener of the pod, but I have to let you guys know that you guys are my dog's comfort podcast for car rides. He usually barks and insists on pets for the entirety of the drive, and when it's 3 hours, that gets tiresome. This weekend, I turned on the pod, and he settled right down and just chilled the entire drive.
Oh my gosh, we're aunties to a dog as well.
You know, the family's growing, and now we have a dog. I think that's so beautiful. Kerrigan Williams didn't say the name of the dog, but we love that dog.
Yeah, we love that dog.
That's so cute.
Amazing.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Once again, thank you for 6 years. That's crazy. I know lots of you have been here since the beginning. But even if you just found us like this episode or last episode or whatever, like, it's just wonderful to have people here. We are now going to go record our bonus episode, The Media Tub, where we go over the shows and movies and games and podcasts and everything, a big monthly wrap-up of media for our Patreon. If you want to join it, what a time to support the pod, the 6-year anniversary. Beautiful. You can join for a whole year, and you get a month off, a month for free. I believe that's how that discount works. I think so. Yeah, and so it's patreon.com/Books Unbound, and we also have that linked in the description and everywhere if you wanted to check that out. And we upload so much bonus good stuff over there if you're curious. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.